Hello, artists. How are you today? Stephanie Aune coming to you once again here from the banks of the Trinity River near Willow Creek, California. It is a smoky, smoky day out there. Okay, so there's some differences between that first photo and the second photo. But we are going to make, well, you saw the birds and the bee and the barfly. I am using my Signo Impact 207. It's a medium point. And this is basically kind of done from the bartender's view. Those of you guys know I was a bartender there for a while, pre-COVID. And so what I'm drawing back there is just some really very loose bottles. And that's what this practice is all about. Trying to stay really loose and free about things. And notice how far back I'm holding the pen, which helps me to be loose with this. You can also use your non-dominant hand. The bee is very simple. It's just a circle on top of a circle with a couple circle wings and little circle antennas, and the eyes are basically a line with 3 circles underneath of it, a little dash of a nose, and she's got kind of a silly smile on her face. Now the bird, he was still really easy. When you are purposely trying to have fun with the illustration, it works much better. It's a really good lesson for me, and I tell you guys, I'm just having a blast creating these little characters. So here she is holding her bottle of wine, putting a little more detail in the bar there, and dirty water. Go clean your dirty water before you start to paint. That water will, that nastiness that's in your water bucket will affect whatever color you put onto the illustration. Okay, so here I decided they needed a disco ball, so that it just had even a little bit more of a bar feeling. The speckled blue background was perfect for this. With our ABC altered book, we have a blue background, we have birds and the bees, and we have barflies, and we have a bar, we have bottles. I've just had so much fun playing with these metaphors. Okay, so here I'm going in and defining the bottles. I decided I wanted to bring in actually a shadow color behind it. And I got that far and I'm like, oh, I don't need to paint those bottles any more than that. And part of the reason for that is you don't want your attention to stop at that foreground. You want your attention to be at the middle ground where the bird and the bee is. So if I wanted to draw the viewer's attention to those bottles, I would have painted them bright colors. But I wanted them to sit in the background so that you could feel that it was there, but that you didn't, it wasn't like the first thing that you noticed with the painting. And I think that those really abstract little bottles turned out super cool. I was painting the well of the bar, so, you'd have all of your boozes lined up and your mixers. I dig how it turned out. Okay, so I'm coming in with some of my Arteza acrylic paint. I think this was the Pearl White, which is a mica. I wanted to have her wings have a little shimmer to them. Now, I do end up changing this later on, but my initial thought was a bee's wings would be shimmery, and so they should have shimmer. And that's what I'm doing. Now what I'm doing is I believe I'm bringing over some gesso over the top of her. And the reason for this is your paint, if you paint directly on top of the blue, see, look at this, greenish color on top of the blue, is much darker. And if you're putting that same color paint over the top of the white gesso, it will be a much brighter color. So, some of the paint colors are very transparent, and putting the gesso down first allows the paint to have something to reflect off of. So the white surface does really help, and that's why I've been doing that underneath some of these creatures. Is it provides a tooth, yes, but it also provides a white background, which we kind of need with these colored backgrounds, and in order to really make things pop. So now here I'm adding in some white into that same colored paint. See what I mean? That paint was still a little bit wet there. And as soon as I bring in some white, it really kind of makes it pop. I don't know how he ended up being a green and yellow bird, but you know how I love to play with the contrast of colors. And, of course our bee has to be yellow. I can't remember if I put yellow or white or black or white stripes on her. I'm just reading or just speaking while I'm watching this little video with you guys. But so we're just trying to build up the color, and then I decide to bring in some yellow into our disco ball. The nice thing about the wash that I put in that background is that I was able to keep that very loose also. So my paint was fairly thinned down on the background, on the back dark blue color. And I was able to keep a lot of that speckled water drop stuff. And I was totally stoked about that. Now I'm bringing in some additional colors into our disco ball. Oh yeah, I made her red. That's right. Does she stay that color? That's really bad. I can't remember. And then I bring in more red, and that pinky color wasn't quite the right color, but it sure was fun when it got there. Now we are putting some yellow down for her face. And see, that's probably the medium yellow. It probably needed a little bit more gesso behind her face before putting, oh, nope. That's the maybe cad yellow light. Not positive what color it is for sure. And I don't tell you guys the exact color names while I'm doing this because I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on the right color for your piece. And I don't want you to go, oh, I've got to mix this and this and this. Now, if we're creating skin tones, yes. Then remember what colors I'm using. Or, if we remember our color theory and the way that we create depth, and how colors mix together, then you shouldn't have to have the exact names of the paint. Just remember your warms and your cools and all of that great stuff that we've talked about many times. And if you're new to the channel, there are definitely many videos out there where I talk about color theory and how to mix paint and how to get certain colors. 30x3 series playlist, that was one that we worked on last year, in fact, and that one really does some extensive work with color. What are we playing with now? Just doing a little defining on their faces, it looks like, and again, just building up the colors. This really can't be done with just one layer of paint. And it probably took me 2-3 hours to make this little illustration. It didn't go quickly, but it didn't have to, because I was just enjoying the process so much, and what a fun piece of artwork to have when it's finished. I think it's absolutely adorable. And so I build up the color. Change the color if it's off, and it's hard to know whether you've hit the right color or the wrong color. And you just kind of have to keep going with things and until it works. And how do you know when it works? Well, you don't always know when it works. Sometimes you just kind of keep going past that point, and we just need to slow down and take our time and be observant and decide. It's like that purple on there. I don't know if that was the color that ended up staying or not, but I wanted to. It was so funny while I was talking about this. I had narrated part of this, of course, and it was taking too long, so the video, if you would have been here with me real time, it would have taken 2 or 3 hours, so I had to kind of I was talking about making her, and I can't really repeat it or YouTube will give me a copyright strike, but I was trying to accentuate her cleavage a little bit, and making all that work was kind of funny. And then just think about the metaphor for cleavage. Anyways, okay, so this bird guy, he was so funny. As the bartender, I got to see these interactions between people. But, I've had I don't know how many first dates over the years. I've had a gazillion first dates. And, there'd be times where you'd be sitting there and you just look at the bartender and you go, oh my God. And the guy sitting next to you would be just this total cheese ball. It's like, I actually left the house for this. And I know that happens vice versa, that guys go out on a date and the girl isn't anything like what, she was supposed to be like. And, how people represent themselves and how they really are, is always two different things. So here what I'm doing is I'm building up the wing color a little bit, but then I'm realizing, I think it's about here that I realize that they're a little too bright. But nope, that's not yet. We got to put on our lipstick. Oh my gosh, the first date stories I had. I didn't have a lot of second dates. But I had a lot of first dates, just because you've got to give people a chance and you got to get out there and you got to meet them. Of course, now I haven't had a date in year and a half, 2 years, over 2 years. I haven't gone on a date. But I haven't really dated anybody either. But all right, so now we're just bringing in some feathers and bringing in our black Uniball Signo 207 medium point. It's a really nice gel pen, guys. It is a little bit more expensive, but it is super smooth. And I love writing with it and journaling with it. It is truly my favorite pen. It is more expensive. Not gonna lie, there are much cheaper gel pens out there, but I really like the line that it gives. And then I will have those down in the Amazon links. And I also did purchase some new white. It was a pack of 6. 3 Posca pens that are white, and then 3 of the Signo white gel pens. So I'll put that link down into the Amazon links also. If you could use those Amazon links or the Arteza links, guys, it would really help me out. And if you happen to like this series, definitely please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment for me. Definitely let me know what you want to see for the C page. We've had a couple good recommendations, but I need to know some metaphors that have a C in it. So let me know what you would like for me to sketch, and then what you would like for me to do. Just suggestions. Heck, I always am open for suggestions. And sometimes coming up with metaphors, alphabetically with animals is a little challenging. But here's where I'm deciding that her wings need to have a little bit more of the background color in them. And I like this. I like this much better. It brings out her body. The only thing about it is then they kind of become a little bit too invisible. Now, they were okay. They were actually probably pretty good right there. I kind of like them, how they look right there. But we're going to bring in a little bit of, I think it's a Payne's gray color. And just darken it down just a little bit more. And then we do come in with our pen over the top of it to kind of give it some veining. But, you have to have contrast. You have to have contrast in order for things to show up. So having the white wings next to the yellow body was not creating enough contrast for her to really stand out. So the darkening of the wings really brought her forward and accentuated her. And that was what was important. And let's see, just doing some coloring, some shading. I feel like I've just been kind of rambling on this video. Kind of funny, but it is, 30 minutes long. So I wanted to be sure that you guys saw the process and, see how long it takes to do some of this stuff. And that it might inspire you to, try it on your own. There's nothing that's really difficult about this. It just takes time and patience, a little bit of practice. Get out your sketchbook, or at least start with the practice animals. Or if you're not into making your own art, I would love to see people do metaphor collages. I think that would be hilarious. Or just something fun. And be sure to share it over at Messy Hand Band of Artists over on Facebook. And we have such an amazing group of artists over there. And everybody is welcome to join. That is the Messy Hand Band of Artists group over on Facebook. And that link is down in the description also. I do also have a Patreon page. And any support that you can give to the channel would be completely awesome. We are working on a really fun project right now. You'll see it, I think, underneath of the video coming up here where I add in my little finishing touches. But what do we got now? What are we doing now? Just adjusting the colors, adjusting the shadows, bringing in a little bit more dark in that background in order to really make that foreground stand out. That blue is a little intense, so we probably have to neutralize it a little bit. I think I have kind of that Payne's gray color again. And I also thought it was really fun too with this, how the blue color was on the back. And then I took that frame that I did with the India ink and the calligraphy pen and used that as a frame for that page, putting the dark in the inside and leaving the lighter color on the outside. I thought that was pretty fun. So here I'm just continuing to play with her wings and playing with the color. Now it's feeling a little too dark. So, there is a fine line with this, but now she feels like she's kind of wearing her little black and yellow dress. But now we're bringing in our white Signo Uniball gel pen. It is a nice pen. It is water soluble, so you gotta watch out for that. Just have to make sure it dries, and try not to put too much water with it, or you will get bleeding for sure. Okay, so now we're just going in and adding in our special highlights, accentuating her little fun wings. Putting some red in. I just grabbed my Sharpie pen because sometimes it's hard to paint those little tiny spaces like that. And Sharpie is a permanent ink, so why not use it? So yeah, you put down the paint, you put down a line. Put down the paint, you grab your pen, put down some more lines. And it's built up over time. What are we doing now? Oh, now we're just adding some more little specks of white here. I wanted to bring his face a little bit more front and center so that it matched hers, giving him a little reflection, basically, where his beak is picking up the light. Trying to give her a fun face so that you can see her looking at the bartender going, oh my god. Kind of one of those situations. The birds and the bees. Now I'm just trying to get a little bit more highlight on her head and under her chin. I tried to give her little red cheeks, and they're still a little bit red. As you can tell, I work sideways a lot, which of course sometimes that means my lines are off kilter. But for me, remember, you can move your book to assist you while you're painting. It doesn't just have to be one certain direction. That's the nice thing about working at these smaller scale paintings, is that you can really have a lot of freedom with it. Now I'm just bringing in some more highlights for our dude. Really concentrating on little, shapes for his feathers. Right? It's just slashes of paint. That disco ball up top is just dabs of paint randomly put in there. We don't have to be super technical with it. We can have fun with it. So, well, this part's almost done here, but I believe that I will be coming in with some vocals here, and I hope you all are staying safe, and I wish you all the best, and we will chat soon. And that bird just started to squawk. All right, everybody. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye. One last thing I wanted to put in here. I'm kind of nervous about doing it. Here's some little barflies. I don't know how many legs flies have. It's too many. It's just a little oval. Here I'm doing a couple big eyes and their wings. Do they have little taily things? All right. The barflies. You gotta have the barflies. Where's my white? Let's see here. I did get my new pens in. I should probably check those out, see if they work any better. This one just doesn't seem to want to work at all. All right, I'll be right back. All right, well, I just got this 6-pack of Posca pens and my Uniball Signos. They're both by Uniball. I had to shake it up a little bit and press it down. This has a really nice fine tip on it. Get my glasses off. Ooh. We'll go back in with some black on that. I don't know if I needed to do those white. We'll fix them up here in just a second though. But we gotta let that dry, but this Posca pen is nice. Gives us a nice fine line. And gives us plenty of paint coming out, which is important. I'm just kind of going over some of those other areas to touch it up. Just a touch on her nose there. I'm going to come back in here in just a minute. Excuse me. Once this is all dried.